What is up, you sexy mother hubbards? It's time for an alternative paper review. First up to The Guardian, who cite a progressive think tank study that has concluded the NHS, the courts, the probation services, everything that has been publicly funded and so has been politically neglected for the last 13 years will probably take about a decade to fix. Basically, they're saying the incoming government, Labour, are going to be inheriting a buffet of broken systems. And this is what makes it so infuriating. When you're kind of up to speed with the news, when you understand how politics in the UK works, it is enraging when you read this sort of stuff. Because if you go back to when Michael Gove blew a gasket in the Houses of Parliament, I can't remember who it was that was criticising him or his government's policy, but his response to it was like, I am tired, I am fed up of people talking this country down. When of course people weren't talking the country down, they were accurately appraising the Tory policy of, whatever it was that week. But that's what they do, is they sort of broaden it out or change it or pivot or contort and shapeshift around what the actual point of the accusation or the speech or the article was. And instead they make it sound like you were talking Britain down, like you're being unpatriotic, or you're suggesting that Britain's history of that particular area is somehow substandard or something to be ashamed about. Like if you put your hand up in the House of Commons and you go like, yeah, the NHS is collapsing. We desperately need about 30,000 new nurses, many doctors. The waiting list is out of control. The care home sector is a joke. What are you going to do about it? And they just go, this country has a proud tradition of the NHS since 1940, blah, blah, blah. I'm tired of people talking this country down. Like, that's what they do. Do you see what they did there? That is the technique. Now, here are your choices. Here's your options, right? You can accept that Michael Gove, or whoever the minister is that's making that kind of response, adopting that conduct, you can choose to believe that Michael Gove doesn't understand what you're actually getting at, like he's misunderstood what you're doing. He genuinely believes that you're talking Britain down, which, maybe you do believe that. I think that's unbelievable. I think that's a stretch. I think that's a stretch too far. I hope you did warm-ups before that stretch. Or, ironically, you could find yourself admitted into a hospital on the waiting list, waiting to be seen, complaining at the front desk, while the receptionist tells you you're just talking Britain down. So you could choose to believe that Michael Gove genuinely thinks that you're just talking Britain down. Or, as I do, you can believe that he absolutely understands the specifics, the substance that you're getting at, but it's just a more conversationally, politically convenient tactic for him to adopt if he suggests that actually what you're doing is being unpatriotic. It is a slithery, cynical move, and that is exactly what I think that he's doing. However, I do accept that he would never admit that. And I also accept that a lot of people would probably believe that he's misunderstanding and they're just like, oh, okay, Michael Gove says you're just talking Britain down, so I guess I think you're a traitor too. Like, there's a lot of people, thousands of people like that out there. But here's what makes it really infuriating is now the state of all of these systems, the healthcare system, probation, courts, education, all of them have crumbled to such an abysmal state. And the Tories obviously know that because they've got think tanks briefing this stuff back, but they're just allowing it to get worse so that Labour then inherit it. It's like, that's how we know that they know that things are really bad, because they're allowing it to remain bad so Labour have a rougher time of it. Over to the Mirror now, who are covering Liz Truss's farcical resignation honours. Yeah, you remember Liz Truss, right? She was Prime Minister for all of 40 days, right? 40 days she was PM. I've had temp jobs longer than that. Like, resignation honours, really? Resignation honours for Liz Truss's 40-odd days in Downing Street. When I was like 18, I temped at Nortel, like a big telecoms company. I temped there for 8 weeks. That's about 40 days, isn't it? Do you know what? Didn't even get a leaving card. But of course, this is merely the latest episode in the shame of the honours system. Peerages, knighthoods, OBEs, CBEs, what used to be pomp and celebration for your services to your country, has now reverted to little more than a sort of, emblem of shame. Like, I don't want to talk anyone down. Like, if you got an OBE or a CBE, if you've been up to Buckingham Palace and they said, well done for sweeping your street voluntarily every day for 53 years, George, you've done a good thing there. If the Queen gave you a medal and a little pat on the head, and you felt good about yourself, and you went home and you rented a nice suit for the day. Like, good, awesome. And I think whatever you did to receive that recognition, that's probably a good thing. And I think if you're a business leader, if you're a CEO and you've got a great track record and you've created jobs and opportunity and vision, honestly, I think maybe you too deserve some sort of recognition. And if you got it, good for you. But here's the thing, like, I do feel sorry for people who genuinely have worked hard and excelled in their field. And they've reached what is widely perceived to be something resembling the peak of that industry or field or discipline, where they go up to the palace and they get given a medal or, or whatever. And then as they walk out the corridor, the sort of people that they see who have also just been knighted are like Tim Martin and Michael Fabricant. Jacob Rees-Mogg. Like, I'm sorry to be the one to break it to you, but getting a knighthood, getting a peerage, it is worthless these days. Like, if you could get a peerage from Liz Truss in her resignation honours for being a Tufton Street disaster capitalist that ruined the lives of hundreds of thousands of homeowners, if you could be someone as ridiculous as Jacob Rees-Mogg with no discernible political success stories. I mean, I don't even need to touch on the Brexit opportunities debacle, but like, what has he done? What has Jacob Rees-Mogg achieved except for backing Boris Johnson, who I think we widely accept now is one of the most shameful prime ministers of the modern era and remains banned from Parliament for being so? And this guy backed him to the hilt. And everyone's like, oh, wow, yeah, he's got himself a medal. He's Sir Jacob Rees-Mogg now. Like, if you got a prize, if you got a medal, you got a knighthood or a peerage or something, and it sort of sits in the same realm, same arena as these guys, how could anyone make the case that this thing is now worth anything or has any prestige whatsoever? Like, truly, I think we've reached a point now where a Jim'll fix it badge would be less crass. Guys, that's it from me. I'm going to have to go. Just want to say a quick what's up to my new YouTube community members, Encore une fois and Nicola. Guys, if you're not following me on Twitter, please do so. DM me, and then I'll give you a link to the Patreon, Discord, instant messenger chat, if you are interested in joining that, of course. Until next time, take care of yourselves. I'm off for my morning cry.